Welcome to East Coast Averages, the podcast that brings you stories from everyday people from all around the world. Recorded on the east coast of Australia, I'm your host Nick, and each week we'll sit down with average people who have unique stories to tell. Let's peek over the back fence and see what's happening in other people's lives. I never know what I'm going to discover until I sit down and start chatting to them. Welcome to another episode of East Coast Averages. Today I'm bringing you my first international guest, and I'll be speaking to Robert James Maiolo. Robert is an author, and the book's called The Book with No Answers. I reached out to Robert on an internet forum and asked if he wanted to come on my show. I had a sneaky listen to a podcast that he's been on and thought, fuck, he's not coming on my show. He's too well spoken to come and speak to the East Coast Averages. But he answered my requests and decided to come on the show, and I had him lined up to speak to him this morning. Now, which leads me to the thing where I had some feedback from a friend, so don't get upset. She knows who she is. She said that the episodes are a bit long, and I actually thought, you know what? She might actually be right with that. So I had a bit of a look around the net when I got home last night. And most podcasts, 45 minutes, an hour, and mine are coming in at an hour 20, hour 40. So I thought, what I thought I'd do, I got an episode that I'd edited, ready to be released in a week or two, and I re-edited it. And I got rid of a lot of fluff, and I knocked out about 20 minutes and got it down to about an hour and 5 minutes. Had to listen to it again and thought, you know what, that was some fucking sound advice to cut a bit of the fluff out of the episodes and make sure it flows better with editing. And so what I thought I'd do today, when I was talking to Robert, was try and shorten the interview at the time of the chat, which was a big fucking mistake. What I should do, what I've learned after today, is that if you're going to shorten an episode, you've got to do it in the editing, because you don't know you just can't fucking rush the chat for 50, 55 minutes an hour. You're better off talking for 2 hours and then spending more time editing and cutting down the time that way. So today's episode, I have to apologise to Rob. It was a bit fucking rushed. When I got off Zoom with him, all day I've just been thinking, oh, fuck that up so much. I just felt really horrible, eh? So I thought, all day I'm thinking about it, and I as you do, I'm looking on the internet. I looked at a few other podcasts, new podcasts on YouTube and shit, and I thought, fucking hell, what the hell am I trying to do here with all this other stuff that's out there on the internet? No one's fucking listening to Nicky J on East Coast Averages. But that brings me to Robert's book, The Book with No Answers by Robert James Maiolo. Now, he's not paying for this show, but so I put his book on this morning. It's about 3 hours to listen to on Audible, and fucking hell, it dead set, absolutely. I said I'd send him an email after I read the book, but the fucking book changed my life, eh? It's a book that gives you questions to answer about your life and where you want to go. And I was driving down to Penrith today, which is about a 40-minute drive for anyone that doesn't come from the east coast of Australia. And I listened to it, and I'd listened to the book prior to that. Anyway, I got chapter 5 on the way down to Penrith, and I tell you, I was in the car and I thought, I'm fucking back, baby. I'm back. It was unbelievable. And you know what? I thought about this episode from that time on. I thought, you know what? I listened to the book. I fucking answered the questions he was asking. And I tell you, I've not felt so motivated since The Closet Communist made me sing at the start and the finish of his episode. So if you want to hear me sing, go back and listen to The Closet Communist. I'm not sure what episode number he is, but have a listen to it. I felt fucking pretty motivated after listening to The Closet Communist. I even sang, but I'm telling you now, man, Robert is not paying me to advertise this book. I'm not getting anything out of this advertisement other than I read the book, and I was thinking about just chucking this whole fucking thing in because I just butchered this morning's interview chat with Robert, and was feeling lousy. I read his book, chapter 5 especially, fucking just got me back up there like the what's the Matthew McConaughey, Liven, living. And so the podcast lives on. I'm fucking back. I'm motivated, more motivated than ever. This is not the best fucking chat that I've recorded. I think it's still worth listening to because, and please, if you do anything in the next couple of days, if you're feeling a little bit unmotivated or you're not sure how to get yourself up and and into a project or something, listen to Robert's book, mate. The book with no answers. Have a listen to it. Here's the show. I hope you enjoy it. So welcome to East Coast Averages. I got my first international guest today, coming in from Toronto. How are you, Rob? Good morning.
I'm doing,
Good morning here. Good afternoon to you.
yeah. Good morning to you. I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
No, that's right, mate. And what's your story, man? Like you're Canadian, born and bred.
Yeah. Born and bred, Canadian. I was born in Scarborough, about a town maybe 30 minutes east from here, and now I'm moved to the city with my wife, and now we live in Midtown Toronto, probably about half hour north of the city.
Yeah, in like apartment living.
Yeah. We live in a condo, so you can probably tell by my
Yeah,
background.
yeah. I
Yeah, I
thought
live
I
in a
thought you were living. I
condo.
was going to say living in a condo. Is there like heaps of trendy cafes sort of areas, or is it just like a residential sort of thing?
No, I would say yeah. I would say it's pretty trendy. We're a bit outside the city, so it's like a little bit more quiet, which is part of the allure of living out here.
Yep.
The places are a little bigger, it's a little bit quieter, it's a little bit more residential. But yeah, still plenty of condos, as you can tell by the
Yeah,
background.
yeah. Did you grow up in Toronto or like around the area you live, like where you were born?
Yeah, I think I've spent my whole life. I went to England for a year for university. Um, and I spent a year, yeah, I spent a year in Manchester, university, and that was about it. Came straight back, and yeah, I've lived in Toronto my whole life. Yeah,
Well, it's not a bad town then, is it? Does it snow in Toronto in Canada?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, oh, yeah,
yeah. So
yeah, yeah.
I'd love to live in a town. I'd love to spend a winter somewhere where it snows. Like I'm in the Blue Mountains, and I know we get down to like 3 degrees or something, and
Oh, really?
we don't get snow or anything. But yeah, I'd love to spend a winter in a city where it's just covered in snow. Probably just a big pain in the ass for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be fun for a year for like the novelty of it and like just to like see snow and like have fun. But like yeah, when you got to commute, when you got to go to work or school and like yeah, or like you get stuck on the road in a snowbank, like then it's like not as fun. I think it's like fun on TV, but then once you're in it, and if you don't do any winter sports, then it's definitely not fun because you're not even skiing or snowboarding. So then it's like you definitely don't like get any of the enjoyment out of it.
So you're stuck inside in like most of the winter. Like, do you look outside and think, yeah, it's such a pain in the ass to put all these coats and shit on. I'll just stay inside.
Yeah. I mean, like the last winter was pretty soft, to be fair. Like it never really got like extremely cold and it didn't snow too much. So it kind of depends on the winter. But yeah, like you're much less likely to go outside. You're much less likely to even like go to a restaurant or like to do anything. Like just the idea of going out is such a production that most of the times you just like stay in.
Yeah, I worked with a Canadian fella and I was chatting to him, and it was a bit weird. Like I grew up in Australia, obviously, and every
Mm,
backyard had a swimming pool. But every winter, his dad would
mhm.
make an ice skating rink in his backyard, and it was funny that
Man.
like our lifestyle was the pool, whereas in like we look
Mm.
forward to summer and the pool and swimming and that, where he would look forward to winter, where his dad would make an ice skating rink and playing ice hockey in his backyard. So it's just like it's same but different. Like it's one extreme to the other. Like you know what I mean, depending on where you grow up in the world.
Yeah, exactly. That is the one winter thing I enjoy doing is skating. Because like I live in a condo, obviously, so no backyard, but like there'll be like public skating rinks you can go to. And yeah, that's like the one thing that like people can like rally around is like skating because it's like local and free and if you have skates and stuff like that, and it's not too far. But yeah, definitely different than the Australian life of like a year-round pool and like,
Yeah.
or not year-round, but like a lot of
Oh, it's
being able to
it's
use the
pretty much
pools and
year
all that
round.
stuff.
It's pretty. I think the
Yeah.
temperature we're in the middle of winter, and the temperature in Sydney today is going to be 20 degrees Celsius. So it's
Jeez.
yeah, it's pretty much nice weather year round here. So as much as people
Yeah.
bitch about the cold, it doesn't really get cold. So you did
Yeah.
all your schooling in Toronto, and what did you do at uni to end up in Manchester? Was that like on a scholarship or something?
Yeah, I went to college in Toronto for 3 years, and then the goal was to go to university afterwards. And I was supposed to go to a university like in Toronto. but it just didn't sound that fun. So I just tried to think of something else I could do. So then I found this university in England that I could go to with my 3 years in college. I could take it there and just with one more year do university and get a degree from there. So I'm like, that sounds like pretty fun and at least be a fun experience. And it was great. Yeah, I got to do a lot of traveling and England's, I don't know if you've ever been to England, but it's awesome, especially like up north where it's like a little grittier and colder and tougher. And so it was such an awesome experience. And it was, yeah, it's for a full calendar year. And yeah, man, yeah, I loved it.
So you went all through
I took
Europe. You did all the
marketing, like business
Yep,
management marketing.
yep. So you went through Europe and that obviously when you're living in England for the year, as people do.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of Ireland, Scotland. Yeah, then all around France, Germany, Italy, Switzerland. Yeah, almost every country in Western Europe. To be fair, yeah.
And do you have a big family back in Toronto? Like,
Yeah, I have. Yeah, my parents are still around. They still live in the house I grew up in. They haven't moved. Um, uh, my sister, she's married, two kids. I had a brother. He passed away
yeah, I'm sorry to
probably
hear
11
that.
years
Eh?
ago now.
Yeah, I look.
Oh yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I remember I sent you the little message saying, "Oh, do you want to come on my show?" I don't do any research. I actually listened to
Yeah.
another podcast you did,
Oh, well.
and I broke all the rules of the East Coast Averages and did a very little bit of research into what who I was talking to. And I did hear you say your brother passed away, and I thought, I stopped listening to the podcast, to that particular podcast. Then I thought, no, I'll wait till I speak to Rob. So I'm really sorry to hear that, man, that your brother passed away. That's a pretty
Yeah.
shitty thing
I,
to happen to
I
you.
appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. So he married an Australian girl, which is the reason I went to
Oh,
Australia
right, yep,
for the
cool.
wedding.
Yep.
So I spent 6 weeks in Sydney, just like like hanging out with that side of the family and hanging around and stuff. So that's my connection to Australia. But
Whereabouts in
yeah,
Sydney was that? What suburbs were you hanging around here?
the Bankstown.
Oh
Does that
yeah,
sound
yep,
familiar?
yep. Oh,
Yeah.
Bankstown.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up not far
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Bankstown. Yeah, yeah. It's all
Okay.
yeah,
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So she lived there. They were big. What was the name of the rugby team? They like the Eels,
yeah.
Parramatta
Parramatta Eels.
Eels.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I'm not
They
a
were big
massive
then.
fan of football. I'm more of a cricket person, which I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Canadians. I'll call it American. I don't know. I'll call it Australian baseball. Cricket. It's I reckon it's very similar to baseball. Slow and sometimes
Yeah.
boring,
Yeah.
but yeah, I can't get enough of it
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
some reason.
No. Yeah. Not super popular here, but there's a lot of immigrants in Toronto, so through them I can know a thing or two about like the World Cup that just happened and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But
yep, yeah, cool.
yeah. Yeah.
So is your sister-in-law still in Canada? Like after your brother passed away, unfortunately, did she come back to
No.
Australia or?
No. She went home probably 6 to 8 months afterwards. She kind of but the rest of her family was there, so
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
like
she
coming out.
probably needed that support when something shitty
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
happens.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that was understandable. But yeah. I had a great time in Australia when I was there, and yeah, it was good. So and now, yeah, I mostly just hang out with my sister, who like my remaining sibling, her and her family, and she's got two kids. One's 8, one's 4, something like that. Getting those numbers wrong, but roughly around there. And then I got married about 6 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a
Where was the honeymoon? Where did you go?
right. Yeah. We went to we got married in Toronto, and then we went to Costa Rica for a week. Went to a surfing retreat. I don't know if you surf. You're in
Oh no, my
Australia,
wife,
but
my wife's a mad. My wife and daughter and son are mad wax heads. But I've surfed before, and we used to live on the beach in Cronulla, and I just never got bit by the bug. Eh? Like I've surfed in that, and it was always take it or leave it. Whereas my wife, yeah, she's a mad wax head. So yeah, she'd like to go
loves
to
it. Eh?
Costa Rica surfing.
Yeah, we went to a surf retreat for a week. So every morning, 7 a.m. for 3 hours, you would surf. Um, so by the end of it, you get like, I don't know, I felt like I got half decent by the end of it, and I
Yeah, yeah,
definitely
cool.
see like the appeal. Um, Apparently it's the most addicting sport. Like neurologically, the guy who owns the resort was saying that a lot of former addicts become surfers because it replaces that like addiction.
I must be missing
Yeah,
something in
yeah.
my brain because I could always take it or leave it. Eh? So did you have a big wedding? Like was it a
Decent size, yeah,
yeah.
110, 120 people, give or take.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I think I
not
had
too big,
110.
but
Yeah. Yeah, so I was
yeah.
listening to that podcast and you were talking about your book, and I did actually have a look at your Amazon, and you said on that other show that your brother passing sort of led you to go and do some stuff you didn't want to do, sort of like push you towards that. And my wife is a
hmm
massive self help guru, like
uh,
meditation and self help books and all that. And then I saw your book, which was the book with no answers or something, was it?
yeah,
So I thought I
that's
called
right.
this
Yeah.
interview the interview with no questions. Yeah, I'll put a link to it in the bottom of my show for you.
There you go.
Yeah, and
Yeah, thank you.
I was going to read it before I did this, but I thought, nah, I'm sticking to the premise of my show, and I'm not reading it. So your brother passing pushed you to do some stuff that like to get out there and write the book that you wanted to, or
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think his passing was more like a wake up call than anything to it, I think everyone it's a strange thing being a human being. You live with the knowledge that you're gonna die one day, and I think we're the only species that does that. I don't know if a mouse scurries around knowing that
knowing
one
he's
day
going
it's
to
gonna
die? Yeah,
die.
yep,
Um, so I think we all like objectively know that we're gonna die, but I don't know if we live every single day like, oh my God, I gotta do everything, otherwise I'm gonna die, and not achieve my dreams, stuff like that. But I think when my brother passed away, it's like when someone so close to you passes away, it's like it becomes very real. Like, oh shit, like people do die. Like it's not on TV, and it's not like, oh, I heard a story of some guy's cousin died in a car accident. That sounds so sad. Like, no, this is like my life. I'm like
yeah, you
here.
do,
My brother is
yep,
gone. So it's like I think it hits you significantly harder when it's that close to home. Um, yeah, and then ever since then, just like I it kind of stuck with me. And keep in mind, between my brother passing away and me writing the book was like 8 years. So it wasn't like I woke up one day
yeah,
like,
and
oh
said,
my
oh,
God, I
that's
got to
it,
make
yeah,
my life count. Like,
yep,
um, it was a hard life lesson, but it still takes a lot of time for it to really like hit you and settle in and digest. And um, yeah, but I think that was probably eventually the thing that pushed me over the edge to be like, okay, if I have this thing in me, which for me was always to express myself artistically, um, and I got to do it now. And for me now meant 8 years, but um, in the sense, it made me realize like I got to take action
yeah,
for things that I want to do in life. So um, yeah, for I think it was just it hits you directly in the face that like, hey, you're gonna die one day, and if you want to do something, you better get to it. Otherwise,
yeah.
time's fleeting.
Yeah, and look, that was probably the catalyst for me doing these podcasts. Rob is I have a dear friend who was diagnosed with brain cancer, which is life limiting, and my wife and I sat down and thought, we've been talking about doing a lot of things for a long time. Let's actually, it's time. I'm a little bit older than you, but it like you said, it hits you when it's that close to home. It hits you and it makes you think, you know what? Let's do the stuff we want to do. So, and your book being about having no answers. Um,
Yeah.
I sort of get where you're coming from because you watch the media and you look at podcasts and you look at TV and all these people that have they're just chucking, they're saying do this, do this, do this, and their only
Yeah.
qualification is they've been in the movies or they've made a heap of
Yeah.
money. They're loaded. You know what I mean? So look at me. I started this business, and if you do this, you'll be there. You do this, go and do this. Then you've got to do that. Then you've got to put your money here and do all that. I sort of like the premise of your book, hey, where it says, I'm not giving you the answers and telling you what to do. I'm just pointing out the questions you should be asking, and then you come up. So someone could read your book and come up with a completely different answer to
Yeah.
you've got to do this, you've got to do that. I did this, and that. So I'm sort of a bit sick of that having been shoved down our throats. I don't know if you feel that way, but I feel like social media and everything is just shoving shit down our throats. Every 5 seconds you turn around, they're saying, do this, drink this, take that. You should be doing this exercise. Put this on your stomach. You know what I mean? Like take this pill. So I sort of like how yours doesn't have any like it doesn't tell you. It's just maybe pointing out. So you better explain that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I obviously agree because I wrote the book, but um, I think in my kind of late teens and early 20s, I, like everyone else, was kind of just confused as to who I am and who I should be and the path I should go down. And, um, you know, how does any of this make sense? Why am I here? Like all these kind of questions that everyone ponders over at some point in their lives. Um, and then I tried the answer thing. I tried, waking up at 6 a.m. and taking more probiotics and going to the gym and traveling and going to a therapist. And some of those things worked to various degrees, but um, I think at some point I realized that the answers they're giving me are based off of their life. So if someone wakes up at 6 a.m. and all of a sudden they have all this time and then they start chasing their dreams and then eventually they hit it, to them that worked. So they're saying, listen, all I had to do was just start waking up earlier and my life suddenly made sense. You
Yeah,
should do the
yeah.
same.
Get up at 6. Yeah, maybe we're not morning
Yeah,
people, man. Maybe getting up at 6. Maybe going to bed at 1 a.m. might do the same thing for us. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So then I realized, like, okay, if their answers are based off of their life, so how do I get answers based off of my life? And I think the best way to get answers is to ask questions. And the best way to get the right answers is to ask the right questions. So I thought, why don't I compile a book full of the right questions you can ask yourself? But then I ran into the roadblock of, okay, so the first question in the book is, who am I? Okay, if I ask someone to ask themselves, who am I? It's not very easy to come up with that answer. But if I ask you, who do you care about? Or what do you spend a lot of your time doing? Or what's something that you want other people to think of when they think about you? Those are smaller, more digestible, easier, tangible questions you can ask yourself and come up with some answers to. So I think what the book does effectively is it asks you with asking your own questions, but then it also kind of handholds you into asking you smaller questions that in some way or another snowball into a larger answer. But the yeah, like you said, the beauty of the book is that two people can read the same book and have completely different outcomes, that it's based tailored to their own life. So someone can read the book and think, I gotta wake up earlier and eat better, and someone else can read the book and think, I gotta stay up later and maybe order more takeout so I have more
yeah,
time or stuff
yep,
like that. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah,
people can come up with different answers because they're asking themselves questions and it's going to be based off of their life, their experiences, their circumstances.
yeah.
That's why I really like the way the book turned out.
And I guess everyone's different. Like my son is quite happy getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning without an issue. But you try and wake my daughter up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and there's no fuck. There's like you, and my wife's the same. She's not a morning person. She's a night person. So yeah, I like the idea of that. And have you had much feedback from people who've read it and and have come up with answers to the questions? You've gone, fuck, they've come up with that. Like you didn't see that coming. Like you know what I mean? How did they get to that conclusion from reading my book? Like
Yeah,
completely
I think
blindsiding you with where they've taken it.
yeah. So yeah, I've gotten some great feedback about the book, and a lot of the feedback around the book has been just a lot of it's people who are so there's some people who have read the book and are like doing very well in life and like are very in control of their lives, but it's kind of like added like a little bit more like depth and structure to their lives and has helped them find a little bit more meaning into their day-to-day actions and seeing how like doing this and this today is going to help them anywhere from 4 to 18 years from now. So I think there's a little bit of that. I think the main benefit that people have gotten from the book it's just given them things to work on. I think the hard part about life after school is like you don't really know what the fuck to do and
Yeah.
work on,
Yep.
and you
Yep.
don't really like. There's no teacher who helps you. So the best thing I heard from a review is that it's a self-coaching book, not a self-help book. So it's almost like a little paper coach that like helps them kind of figure out a couple things in their life today, and then also helps them figure out a couple things that they might want to do in the future. And then through that, helps them link that together and say, okay, if I'm here today and I want to be there 4 years from now, then I need to do these 17 things to get there. And then they can start working on those 17 things.
Yep.
Whereas before that, they're just like, I guess I'll go to work. I don't know. I guess I'll go for a walk. It's probably a good idea. Like it's just helped them like get a little more structure in their lives and given them, like I said, it's given them homework in a sense to work on to help achieve their dreams in the
Maybe
future.
get out of that dreary job that they're doing or something, or they get stuck in the degree that they did that they didn't really like being stuck in. So you did a marketing degree, did you say? Did that help with writing the book, or you said you have an artistic outlet? Is it just with writing, or you play music or do other things for that?
Just yeah, just with writing. Well, so I always knew I wanted to do something that would live longer than I would. And I think art is a good thing to think of because art lives longer than the person who created it. I can't sing, and I can't draw, and I can't act. So I thought,
Yeah.
okay, let me write.
Are,
That's
they, are
kind of the
those are
thing I
those the
land on.
answers that you came up to after reading your
Yeah,
book?
that's
Or
right.
was it
That's right.
or
Yeah.
was it every time you started singing, someone said, "Rob, just keep quiet, thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Fucking
That's
shut
not
up,
it.
thanks."
Yeah. I've never been singing and someone said, "Oh, you're good at that." That's
Yeah,
never
yeah,
happened in my entire
yeah,
life.
yeah. I
Yeah.
play guitar and occasionally like to sing, but yeah, I can't sing. I sing when no one else. Oh, my family hears me, but yeah, even they say, "No, stop singing, Dad.
Yeah.
You're no good."
Yeah. Yeah. That's about it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I like writing. I think I'm good at it. I don't get a lot of chance to do it, but I like public speaking. I think I'm good at it. I don't really get stage fright. Um, this book is, the kind of like guitar. I heard Luke, I don't know if you're into country, but Luke Combs, famous country singer, he said, I didn't want to play guitar, but I wanted to sing. But if you're at a party and you just start singing, then people look at you like you're fucking crazy. But
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
at a
yeah.
but, but if you're at a party and you have a guitar and you start playing and then you start singing, well, then that's very natural. So that's kind of the way I looked at the book is that, yeah, I wanted to write a book, but then I also wanted to public speak and come on podcasts and do stuff like this. But if I just said, hey, Nick, I'm a nice guy. Can you have me on your podcast?
I probably would.
Not so great.
I probably
But if I
would,
said,
Rob.
hey,
That's the premise of me show, mate. Just average
yeah, yeah,
people.
you would.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
would. But I don't
sorry.
think most
I hate
people
to.
would.
Yeah, I would definitely have you on my show for that one.
Right.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Is there another book in the works, or have you got other ideas
No,
coming in?
no, this is all I got, man.
That's
Took
that's
me,
it. Is it?
yeah, took me fucking 33 years to write this one. This is all I got. But I'm hoping to you know, in a sense, parlay it into doing more stuff like this, maybe getting on stage a little bit. I think that's where I think it could eventually take me. But as far as writing, I don't think I got another book in me. But never say never.
So was it difficult to like a self help book? Did you go and speak to like psychologists, or you did a lot of reading of the self help genre to see where you wanted to go with it, sort of thing?
Yeah, I've definitely read a lot of self-help books, listened to a lot of self-help podcasts, which probably what led me to write the book because I'm like I've read all these books, listened to all these podcasts, and I don't really feel like I'm that further ahead. So like there's something missing here, and I think I found an avenue that maybe not a lot of people have taken. But no, I think the reason people who've read the book have liked it is because it's my friends who have read it says that they felt like they were just talking to me. It feels very conversational. It feels very like authentic. And I wanted that to shine through. And I felt like you wouldn't have gotten that if I was just like referencing this psychologist and this
Yeah,
study and
yeah,
15 years ago, 1,000 people did this. And you know what I mean? Like I wanted it to be a little bit more like anecdotal and a little more like personal. And um, yeah, the most important thing for me was to write a book I was proud of. And I think if going the way I went is how I was able to do that. If I spent 2 years doing research and started like citing all these reports,
yeah,
I don't think that would
yep.
have
It would have
been
ruined it for you.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
So when you were growing up as a kid, were you what sort of kid were you? Were you artistic then? Like were you academic, or were you more into sports? Or were you the kids in the back chatting the whole time?
Yeah, I'm sure. I was thinking recently what kind of kid I was. I was definitely not athletic. I played sports, but I wouldn't say I was athletic. Uh, not artistic. Kind of just like quiet. You know what? You know what? I think I was a good listener. This is my current theory. is I think I was very um what's the word I'm looking for, where you're always like examining what's going around you and like
Yeah,
um
yeah. I can't think of the word. I know the word you're looking for, but yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You're the
I felt like I
writer,
was more of
Rob.
like
Come up with the word, man. Come on.
yeah, I know. Observant. There we go.
Observant.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ. Couldn't
yeah,
think of the word
yeah.
observant. Most basic word I couldn't even think of it. I feel like I was a very observant kid. I feel like I noticed a lot of things. Even now as an adult, I feel like I'm like my wife's listening to me, so she might be like, "Fuck you talking about? You don't know anything." But like,
she's fucking shaking her head, going, "No, he's not. He's bullshitting
you're
you,
not
man.
observant at all. I
He's
give you
lying
40
to
signals before you arrest me.
you."
Yeah, exactly. I I feel like, you know, like I felt like I was always like as a kid more like watching other people than doing things. I felt like I was always noticing things that was going on around me. I felt like I was always like kind of like taking notes of things that other people would do. Um, and yeah, I think that was like most like if you saw me as a kid, you probably wouldn't even notice me. I was just very quiet, very in the corner, very to myself, like yeah, very like shy,
Yeah.
observant kid is how I would
It's strange how a lot of people who are sort of introverted and shy end up doing something like writing a book or want to get into public
yeah.
speaking. It's like a different, completely different persona. Because I'm actually if I go to someone, if I'm friends with someone, I'm very outgoing and loud and that,
Mm,
oh fuck, they can't shut Nick up. He's too bloody noisy. But if I
mm,
go to someone, if I then go to their house to a barbecue with a heap of strangers, I'll sit in the corner and don't say anything. They go, fuck, what's wrong with him? You know what I
mm.
mean? So it's
Oh, wow.
I'm very outgoing when I'm comfortable with people, but
Okay.
other than that, I'm quite reserved more. So it's a bit of a weird thing. You know, you were introverted as a child. Now you want to get into public speaking, which seems to be
Yeah.
the
I
complete
felt like it's
opposite.
flipped as an adult. And it's funny because like and my wife pointed this out to me when we were in Costa Rica. She's like, "Oh, when you're around strangers, it almost like fuels you." I have this like almost like permanent host mentality where like if there's someone I don't know, I feel like it's my responsibility to like get things kind of going and like get the conversation going. But then I'll me and my wife will go to my
Does
parents.
that drive your wife nuts at times? And she goes,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yes,
where's
yes.
Rob? Oh, he's over there with his new best mate that he just met
Yeah,
5 minutes
yeah.
ago. Oh,
That's
the
right.
best mate's coming over for dinner. There we go."
That's right.
I have a
That's
friend
right.
who's
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
like that. And look, my wife and I lived in a unit in Cronulla, and we didn't know
Mm,
anyone in that unit block. We went away
mm,
for 2 weeks, and my mate brought his family up for to house sit our unit for 2 weeks. Fucking knew everyone
mm.
in the block of flats. Everyone in 2 weeks. Spoke to everyone, knew them all, knew their story. And his wife said, "Wouldn't be surprised if they're coming over for Christmas dinner at the end of the year," sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that you? Is it?
Yeah, it is me, but then like if me and my wife were to go to my parents' house, for example, I'll like be pretty quiet and like I try and explain it's hard to explain, but like when I'm comfortable around you, then I'm if I'm quiet around you, that means I'm comfortable around you. And I don't feel this need to be like on stage
Yeah,
doing
yep,
this and
yep.
doing that. Like I feel comfortable just sitting on a couch saying nothing for 2 hours because like yeah, like I know you and I just feel comfortable just like putting my guard down and relaxing. Whereas if I don't know you, I don't feel comfortable, so I'm like trying to like, hey, what's this? What's that? And I feel like I'm kind of like a monkey on stage a little
Yeah,
bit.
well, I'm the
Um,
absolute opposite to that. If I know
yeah,
you, I'm loud. If I don't know you, I'm quiet. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so funny. Yeah, I think that's the better way to go about it because you should be outgoing around the people around you. You should not take their company for granted. But um, yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm just I don't know. Like my parents are very quiet. So when I used to live with them, we would just like sit on the couch for like 3 hours watching TV. No one would say anything. Um, yeah, yeah, it's a strange transition into adulthood
and you,
from when I was a kid for sure.
and you see your parents still living in the family home. Like, paint me a picture of a family home in Canada. It's the same as the family home in Sydney. You know, what is it? House, bit of a backyard, or is it
Yeah,
con?
yeah, house, backyard. Um, yeah, typical, just kind of like ranch kind of bungalow type thing. Um, my parents, what's the deal with my parents? My dad was a steel worker. My dad, my parents are Italian immigrants, so my dad worked, started working on the farm when he was 12 in Italy, and then retired last summer at the age of 77. So like my dad has just he works and he shuts up and then he works some more and then he shuts up and he works some more and he shuts up. So
How's
that's
he
my
handling?
dad.
How's he handling retirement then? If he's been such working for so long, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know. I think he always kind of dreaded it. That's why he stuck in 12 years longer than everyone else. Um, but yeah, I think it's been a tough transition for him, just like not having like anything to, not having that like routine of going to work and stuff like that. Thankfully, my mom's also retired. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and then she worked at Costco for 10 years. You have
yeah,
Costco in Australia?
yeah. We do have Costco. I
Nice.
don't go there because I've only got my family go there and they fucking go
Mm,
there and buy all this bulk shit and
I know.
they come home with buckets full of stuff. And I say, there's only three of us in the house for fuck's sake. What are you doing shopping at Costco? Like I've got four people in my house. Why do I need to go to Costco and buy 6 litres of tomato sauce? You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I do like Costco, but I don't go there because I just don't need that much food.
It's also impossible to walk out of there without spending at least $200. Like it's just like you walk in, want to get a few things, next thing you know, $200 and it's gone.
Although I was happy to find, I think it was a 5 litre bottle of Frank's hot sauce, which it
Oh
says on the
shit.
bottle I put that shit on everything. And I mean, I
Yeah.
put that shit on everything that I eat, Frank's hot. So I was happy to see a 5 litre bottle of Frank's hot sauce. But the $60, you got to pay membership over in Canada for, we got to pay 60
Yeah.
bucks a year
Yeah, $60 a year. Yeah, same.
to get in the gate. So yeah, 5 litres of Frank's hot sauce is not worth 60 bucks to me. So
I don't think so. So my mom used to work there, and then she retired many years ago, and now they're both retired, hang
yeah.
out. Um,
How did they
and yeah,
pick Canada from Italy? Were they looking to go somewhere, and that was the first country that, like, I know a lot of immigrants, they look to go to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and they sort of go to the first country that sort of that says, "Yep, come on down."
yeah. How did they land on Canada? I think it was mostly my uncle. Like my dad's the youngest in his my both my parents are the youngest in their respective family or younger in their respective families. So I think it was like their oldest sibling. I believe my dad's oldest brother came here first through something on his side of the other side of the family.
Yeah,
And then he came here and then he went back to Italy and he said, "Hey, it's pretty sweet in Toronto if you want to come." So then my dad and the rest of his family came. But then my dad met my mom in Italy and she's the only one who came from Italy. So all my mom's family is all still there. And they just decided to stay in Italy in this like incredibly small town. And they love it. So I guess they,
yeah. Have you
still
been over
still
to
there.
see where your mum and dad grew up in
Yeah.
Italy?
A lot of times, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been there a lot of times. It's cool. It's cool to visit for sure. And then it's cool to see like it's cool to see my parents in the town they grew up in. It's like a nice I think that's like cool thing for a child to see is where you see your parents' origin stories. Um, yeah, so that was really fun to go. I've been there a few times, but yeah, just like small town, like up in the mountains in Italy, like very far from everything.
yep.
Yeah,
The
it's
million dollar
different life.
question: can you speak Italian, Rob?
No,
Oh, fucking hell. Oh,
I
no
know.
offense to your parents, man, but honestly, if your parents can speak another language and they don't teach their kids, I don't know, man. You need to go to your mum and dad and say, come on, mum and dad, I should speak fluent Italian. Come on.
But you know what the funny part is that when I was born, very early on, my mom went to Italy and took me with her. And I went for a long time, maybe the whole summer, maybe like, 6 weeks or something like that. And then I came back just before I was supposed to go to school, and I didn't speak. I like wasn't speaking it. I was only speaking Italian. And then I was going to this English school, and I didn't speak English. And my teachers went to my parents like, "What the fuck is up with your kid? Like,
You
they're
didn't
supposed to
teach them
speak English by the
English.
time they
Yeah.
come to school."
Yep.
So then my
Yeah.
parents freaked out, and all of a sudden they weren't speaking. Like
Oh,
Italian was
so they thought,
banned
fuck,
from the
we better
household.
not speak. We've got to speak English. Yeah, that's a pity, eh?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But then kids like they learn something so quickly. Kids like a 6-year-old all of a sudden learns how to play guitar in 2 weeks. Like same thing with language. So then I picked up English pretty quickly, and then next thing you know,
The
just lost
Italian's gone, mate.
Italian and never got it back.
Gonskis. Oh, have you had your book
No.
translated to any other languages yet? to Italian or
I don't
something?
know. I
No.
don't know. I mean, I put it like I publish it through Amazon, so you could
Yep.
publish books through Amazon, and then they print it for you. Um, so I don't know if you're in Italy and you order the book if it'll be printed in Italian. I don't think it would. I think it's just English. Yeah, yeah.
I was
You
this.
can get it worldwide, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and like I said, I'm gonna. You're not. I'll just put it out there to the people listening to the podcast. Rob's not paying to come on my podcast. I invited him on to talk about his book. I saw him on an internet forum and said, "Hey, Rob, do you want to come on my podcast?" I'm going to put a link in the show description to your book. And like I said, I was this close to reading it before the show, but I thought, no, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to read it after the show. Is it on Audible?
Audible. Yep. It's me
Oh,
reading it, so I
it,
hope you like my voice because
yeah, that's right.
it's me for 2 hours.
I'll probably listen to it on Audible or then no, yeah, I'll probably listen to it on Audible. So yeah, I'll definitely have a listen to that. So you've been to Italy. You grew up in Toronto in the snow and whatnot. So you're a good skater. You can skate. Played ice hockey.
Yeah, great skater. That's that. When I played hockey, I so when you play hockey as a kid, there was no hitting, no checking up until you turn, I think, 10, and then they introduced hitting, which is when a lot of kids stop playing because if you're like me and you're like puny,
Yep,
then like you're
that
just gonna
hurts.
get destroyed.
Yep.
So I did a year of checking, and then I was like, all right, I'm done with this. But then I kept skating, so I've been skating since I was 4 or something like that. So like I'm a very good skater. That's the one athletic thing I think I'm
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good
I'd
at
love to be
is
able to
skating.
ice skate or something like that. I've got no balance whatsoever, so I just fall over.
Yeah,
Yeah, and look, the
yeah, yeah.
Canadian fella I work with plays ice hockey over here, and he's a really quiet bloke. And I always look at him and think, I always say to him, "You get on the ice hockey fucking rink and just destroy people, don't you?" And all the rage comes out that you don't show when you're working. And all of a sudden, I'm not sure. I think yeah, he's from some quiet back at some town like 6 hours flight from. I don't know, where do we fly into from Australia, Vancouver? I've actually got a third cousin in Toronto, I think.
Oh,
I,
sick.
I can't actually remember where he lives. I know my sister's been over there for the Calgary Stampede. Is that near? Is that
Oh,
like?
nice.
Is that
Calgary's
like Canadians
very
look at that
far
and
from me.
go, oh, for fuck's sake, the Calgary Stampede? Are you
Cal
serious? Would you find something else to
Calgary's
do
about
it?
a 3-day drive from here.
Oh,
So
is it that far away? Is it? Well, there you go. So you're not going to the Calgary Stampede. Well, Canadians just
no,
roll
I
their
think it's
eyes, I
happening
think.
right now at Calgary Stampede.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have a clue. Is
But, yeah.
that's like the thing they just roll their eyes and think, oh fuck, here comes another tourist to look at the Calgary Stampede.
I've been to the Calgary Stampede. It's a good amount of fun. It's a very unique experience.
Yeah. So are you still working in the marketing field? You did a degree in marketing. You're still working in the field that you're trained in.
Yeah, yeah. Still work in marketing. Do a lot of like website marketing, and like the like investment advisory space. So yeah, still do that. Still work away. Um, yeah, just very recently got married. Just enjoying that, and yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I've been in marketing probably about 2 years or so. Before that, I worked in software, like customer relations. And before that, I was also in customer relations. So I've been customer facing pretty much my whole life, which I think is a good thing. I think it makes you very empathetic. Um, yeah, yeah.
I tried to build a website. Fucking hell, what a mess that was. Suppose they say, yeah, this is easy. Build your own website. Follow this template. Fucking hell, what a mess. I ended up paying someone to do it for me. Not a massive amount of
Really?
money, but it was through one of the internet like providers that you can build a website for free, and I just fucking couldn't do it. So I ended up paying
Yeah.
for them to do it. It's
The
just
good thing is
easier.
it's like so easy and cheap to make a website that even if you pay someone, they also like there's so much competition because it's so easy to do
Yeah.
that they can only charge so much. So like paying someone to do it, it's not the end of the world
Yeah,
to
and
do
look, like I
so.
said, it wasn't much. It was not much at all.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, it is well worth that little bit of a couple $100 I just dropped on that dude building the website. But mind you, if it comes out and it looks exactly the same as the one that I did with their template, I'd be sending it back saying, "Nah, fuck, mate,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, but it'd be
expecting something
good.
a little bit better than that one." So,
Yeah, but it'd be good. And yeah, you're not asking for this like I don't know if you've ever been on like Tesla's website, but it's just this like incredible website with these videos and everything transitioning. Like I'm sure you were looking for something very
Yeah, I'm looking for something a little
straightforward.
bit. I'm looking to sell maybe a hat or something with East Coast averages on it, and that's
Yeah.
about it. And my wife's artwork. So, yeah. So what do you guys do when you're not working? Like Canada works the Monday to Friday, your standard sort of working week like everyone else in the world?
Yeah. Yeah. Monday to Friday, pretty standard. When we're not working, I see my family a lot. See my wife's family a good amount too. Um, yeah, that's like nothing like no like routine of we always do this, we always do that. We try and get outside, especially in the summer. It's like very fleeting in Canada. You got about 3 months. Um, so yeah, try and get outside a lot. I play as much golf as I can swing.
Yep. How do you go in
I would
winter
say
then?
probably
There's no playing golf in winter, or do they snow plow
no,
the course or anything?
no. You can play
There's
indoors.
too
They
much
have
snow,
like
isn't it?
domes.
There's way too much snow to plow
Yeah,
golf
no,
course in there.
yeah, no
Yeah.
chance. Yeah, yeah,
So you
no
get your
chance. So I would
summer's 3 months, man. That's it. 3 months of warm weather.
like 3 good months, and then it starts to like transition. So you can play golf from May till October, but the first month is pretty chilly, and then the last month is pretty chilly. So really, you got like kind of like June to September kind of when you can play. Um, yeah, yeah. So I try and get out about like once a week or something like that to play, but because yeah, in the winter you play, they have these domes you can play inside, or then they have these like virtual screens you can play, but it's like obviously not nearly as fun as like being outside with your friends in the summer, having a beer and like playing golf. So I try and do that a lot. Yeah.
Do you watch ice hockey a lot, or you're not into going to
Yeah.
live
Oh yeah.
ice hockey?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, big time. Hockey. I would say hockey and football are probably American football are probably my biggest um sports that I watch for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I really like
Yeah.
watching baseball, but I think that's a hangover from the cricket because it's
I
like I
think
said,
so.
cricket. You watch I don't know if you might know much about cricket, but if you watch like a 5 day test match for cricket, it's very much like I don't know, like the Blue Jays playing the Yankees for 4 days straight, sort of thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, yeah. How
And
long is each match in a day?
test matches 5 days, and then we
Mm.
have T20s, which are about 3 hours, and 1 day matches, which are about 8 hours. So. But even I find it hard. I go to a lot of the T20 matches because it's
Mm.
3 hours. They start, they finish. The
Okay.
Yeah, 5 days. I love cricket, but 5 days at the cricket would kill me. I'd be
That's a lot.
I'd be
They just
fucking
had the T20 World Cup
yeah,
with
yeah.
India.
We
That's what they won.
we usually go pretty well on that, but we bombed out this year, so we didn't
Oh
make it to the
no.
finals. We're usually pretty good. We're
Well,
always up in the top of the world rankings anyway for cricket.
how
So.
far did you? How were you in the final
I
or no?
think we
That
got
was
to
South
the. I
Africa.
think we got to the semi-finals. We didn't make the final. It
Semis.
might have been the quarterfinals. Yeah, I must admit I wasn't paying much attention to it this year. It's weird,
Yeah.
when they're playing cricket overseas, I don't watch it like I do when it's the cricket season in Australia, sort of thing. I've
Mm,
become way more interested in it when it's in Australia rather than sort of overseas.
yeah. How is it live?
Yeah, it's good live. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think any sport good is live is good. Eh?
Yeah.
I'd
That's
probably
true.
go to
Yeah.
most sports live. So I don't really follow
Yeah.
rugby league over here, which is the other big sport in Sydney. But even that live is good to watch, and
Yeah.
basketball
Yeah.
and all that kind of thing. So yeah, any live sport's
Right.
pretty good. And
Yeah.
you can sort of go in the middle of winter with t-shirt on, unlike yourself. That
Yeah.
that fucking. But
Yeah.
the funny thing is, everyone I've met in Australia says that our houses are the coldest they've ever felt because we don't prepare for winter.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, and
That's
they
right.
like
I
I've met people
remembered
here.
that when I was in Australia.
I've met people that come over and I say, oh, how you liking the winter in the Blue Mountains? They go, fuck, I've never been so cold in all my life. I said, why is
Yeah.
that? Because you fucking don't know how to heat your houses, you idiots.
Yeah.
They say
That's right.
I'm
Yeah.
freezing. so yeah.
That's
So
right.
we don't do cold weather real well, and we all start bitching. Gets to like 5 degrees, and the wind comes up, and we get a wind chill factor of like might be -1 Celsius, and yeah,
Yeah.
the wheels fall off the machine. Everyone's it's so fucking cold, and I'd imagine what you get like -40 over there or something.
Yeah. -40 is pretty bad. I would say, I would say on average is like, -15, -20.
Yeah, just
If it's
on
minus
average.
40,
Yeah,
yeah.
fuck minus
If it's
15,
minus
mate.
40, I'm fucking staying home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minus
Yeah.
15, no one, this whole country would come to a standstill. I think no
Yeah.
one would be doing anything. Fucking hell, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
how
Yeah.
long has your book been out for, mate? I'm just coming up to look. I've been doing this podcast not for too long. I had a bit of feedback that my episodes were going too long, so I'm trying to keep them down to an hour. For
An hour? Okay.
yeah. So
Nice.
usually they've been about 100 hour and 20, and a few people have said, "Hey, Nick, I really like your podcast, but at about minute 45, I'm ready to hang up on you, bud." So I thought, all right, I'll
Jeez,
take
man.
that on board and try and keep the episodes into a more listenable time frame. So how long's your book been out for?
It's been out, I don't know, I want to say a year and change, something like
Yep.
that. I just when I wrote it, I was just like so fucking sick of it. You make music, so maybe you understand. Like by the time it's done, you're just like so over it. You've just read it so many times, and you've just like agonized over it that I was like, just like get this thing away from me. So when I released it, I just like released it and just told my friends and family, and then that was it. I didn't do any podcasts. I didn't advertise. I didn't do anything. Probably for like a year. And that just now I feel like I'm kind of like getting into the rhythm of like trying to do some podcasts, trying to do some marketing and like trying to like get into that. Because yeah, like they told me like, oh, when your book's done, they'll rip it out of your hands. Like you'll never be finished. Like you'll always want to add to it.
Yep.
But I didn't find that at all.
No,
I
you
was
didn't.
like,
Yeah.
get this fucking thing away from
That's
me.
it. I'm done. Fucking author
Yeah.
days are over.
Yeah, I mean, so you said you're a dad,
Yep.
and you're married. So I'm curious, as someone who is recently married and wants to be a dad one day, like what would you tell someone who's just like starting out on that journey?
Yeah, I've been married 24 years this year, and I've known my wife since we were 13. With a little bit of a. I went off to the Navy. She went to uni, so we sort of went our separate ways for a while. Got back together.
Hmm.
But yeah, how do you 24 years of marriage? I don't know. I've enjoyed every minute of it, so I guess I found the right person. Kids, man, you know the advice I give you with kids is that I don't know what it's like for mothers, but for a father, when they say that you'll fall in love with this child when they're first born, I didn't find that. I found it was probably
Hmm.
3 or 4 months later. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
I always thought, oh
Yeah.
fuck, is there something going on here? You're supposed to be looking at this child, and I knew I liked the
Yeah.
child, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was probably 3 or 4 months where I sort of like might have been nursing them or something 4 or 5 months later, and thought, yeah, I really love this child. Like, you know what I mean. It wasn't. I guess it
Yeah.
might be an instant thing for some
Hmm.
parents and fathers and that, but it certainly wasn't for me. And I did worry about that. And I say that to people who I know now who are having babies, and I say, look, women and girls, it's more likely they have this instant love of their child, but it might take a couple of months to develop as a father, and that's not a bad thing. Don't feel bad like
Hmm.
I did. And yeah, so that's what I found when I had kids, is that yeah, it took 3 or 4 months to develop that real love for the little kiddo
Yeah.
that
That's
was
awesome. I don't think a lot of people give that advice, so that's good to know.
yeah. And the other word of advice I would give is a bloke told me this years ago, and it was sound advice. When your wife has a baby, give her a present on that day and tell her this is that children take up a lot of your time. This is to remind you that I'm still here for you, or something like that. Yeah,
Nice.
just
Oh wow.
just soppy shit like that, Rob.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's awesome. I'm very curious about um when it comes to kids and their hobbies, what I'm trying to understand the chicken and the egg of it. Is it so if you think about one of your kids and one of their hobbies, was it they expressed interest in something and then you put them in some sort of program, or you just put them in a bunch of programs and then they said, "Hey, I like this one thing," and then you stuck with that?
yeah. Look, I talk about putting skating rinks in your backyard. I mow a cricket pitch in my lawn every year in summer, and I stand out there by myself lamenting how my children don't like to play cricket. Yeah, we just put them in a whole lot of stuff.
Hmm.
My daughter went into like a gymnastics thing, and then wakeboarding. They also tried indoor skydiving, but both my kids ended up in basketball. So and
Oh.
I've never watched basketball in my entire life, and I still sit at basketball 5 or 6 years later, and the ref will call a foul, and I think, what the fuck? I think someone beside me say, "Oh, that wasn't a foul." And I think, fuck, But I wouldn't have a clue. They'd say, "Oh, that ref doesn't know what he's doing." I think, well, fuck, it didn't look like anything to me. So yeah, no, they
Yeah.
sort of picked their own hobbies. You sort of
Mm,
give them a whole lot of stuff, and
hmm
yeah, they picked their own. Like I said, I play guitar. My son played drums for a while, but sort of got a bit bored with that, so he stopped playing drums. And my daughter started guitar lessons, but then didn't like playing it for a couple of years, and then just one day picked it up and has been playing it
mm,
ever since. So yeah, I've
mm.
not, yeah, trying to push them into a sport or a particular hobby is not, yeah, it doesn't usually work, because they're going to go the way they go. And both my kids are way better at sports than I ever was. Now, I'm not sure where they get their
Yeah.
competitive streak from, because my wife and I are the least competitive people on the planet. Like, we've
Yeah.
got zero, you know what I mean? And I've got zero balance, yet my son can pop monos on push bikes, and which really shits me. Because I've always wanted to get on a mountain bike and get. You see these kids going down the road in mountain bikes on the back wheel. It fucking drives
Yeah.
me nuts, Because I think,
Oh
you
yeah.
little shits, because I can't do it, All I want to do is pop a mono and go down the street. So yeah, but I can't
Yeah.
do that. But yeah, so your kids are massively different, and
Mm.
they sort of do like the stuff you like, but their sports and hobbies sort of develop themselves. Yeah, they sort of know. You'll know when your kid finds something they want to do.
Mm. Interesting. My last question about being a dad: how do you maintain a good marriage when you have kids? Because follow up to that, I babysat my niece and nephew for a
Yep.
day with me and my wife, and then after when it was done, I'm like, I don't even think we looked at each other for the whole day. We
Yeah.
were just like so like laser focused on these fucking kids. I'm like, how do people
Yep.
stay married?
Yeah, that's a tough one, Because like I said, I chose the right wife, mate. I've been married, I've known her for so long. And
Yeah,
how do you stay married, Kez, after 24 years? Tolerance, she says. With
tolerance.
kids, yeah, I don't know, man. Kids take up your time. They take up your
Yeah,
time. And my son's 20 and
yeah,
just qualified as a carpenter. I feel like we've sort of
nice.
finished our job with him. He's off doing his own thing. My
Mm,
daughter's 15. She's working and whatnot. And you eventually get your life. Well, you can't say get your life back, because I've enjoyed every minute with my kids. You know what I mean? But it's got to the point
right.
now where we can start to. I can sit here for an hour doing this.
Mm,
There's no way known 10 years ago I could sit here between 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning and
yeah,
and record this with you without noise and carry on. So you just got. It's just
yeah,
different
yeah.
stages in life, man. You just got to be prepared that there's some stages in life, and I guess your marriage, where you and your wife are not going to be the main focus, and you've just got to
Mm,
remember that they're your kids. Don't get jealous of your kids. Your wife's giving them some attention. You know what I mean. Just because she's giving the
right.
kid attention, don't get jealous yourself and think, oh, I'm not getting enough attention from my wife. Kids getting all the
Yeah,
attention.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different
Right.
stages in life, and I think after chatting with you and the book that you've written, I think you'll be very aware of the stages in life you go through. And I think you've just got to accept
Right.
it, enjoy that stage, and know that you move on to the next stage. And I've said
Mm,
on previous episodes, when I turn 50, the next stage in life is I sort of don't care what people think. Um,
mm,
so I've thought about doing this for so long. I turned 50 and I think, you know what? You sort of, you know what I mean? So you see
yeah.
that you just got to go through the different stages, embrace them and enjoy them, and come out the other, and know that at another point you will be coming to a different stage or a different answer to your questions, and just
Mm,
enjoy it, man. You know what I mean? And just go with
yeah.
enjoy each stage of life. And yeah, to stay
Interesting.
married, some stages, your wife and I are, your wife and yourself are not going to be the priority. And if you accept
Yeah.
that and understand why it's happening, you'll probably be more likely to get through it. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's the world according to Nikki J, as my son calls me. Could be complete fucking shit advice, but yeah, that's how I know. That's how I think I got there. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So
that's awesome. Thank you. I'll take any when it comes to fatherhood and husbandhood. I'll take any advice I can get.
and you know what, kids are easy. They're easy in hindsight. That's why you love them
Mm,
so much, because they can be real little pains in the butt sometimes. So
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. It's yeah. Just go with the flow. It's probably the way to be.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I
Uh,
appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's all right, mate.
Nice.
So yeah, any other questions? Usually I'm asking the questions or doing the talking, but
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You're not used to. Well, I think it's good that your listeners get to learn about you too, not just the guests.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I think that's all. That's it. I don't want to grill you too much.
But yeah, I've really
Awesome.
enjoyed talking to you, Rob. It's good, and I'm going to read the book, and I'll send you an email and let you know what I think of it. And I'm going to get my wife to read it actually, because she, like I said, she's what are the big names, and Joe Dispenza and all those people that are in the
Oh
self
yeah.
help. Yeah, she's writing to listen to those guys. So I'll tell her that Rob's got a better answer, and that's not
Yeah,
having
that's right.
the answer. He's got the questions.
Uh,
You'll come
yeah,
up with your
yeah,
own
that's right.
answers. So I'll get her to have a listen to it as well. I'm getting a little bit of a following out there, so hopefully someone will pick the book up and read it. And I'm definitely going to go and have a look at it.
Nice, appreciate that. Yeah, so the book's called The Book with No Answers: Unlocking the Power of Questions for a Better Life. I think if you have any sort of interest in improving your life and doing it in a way that's tailored to you, it's not, I don't tell you to do anything in the book. I just ask you some questions. I go through how I think I would answer those questions in my life. It's very structured, very easy to follow along to. And I think if there's any part of you that wants to make a change for the better in your life, but you want to do it in a way that is very thoughtful, very methodic, and is also just very tailored to you and your life, and that you can use your circumstances to make those changes, then I think this book is for you. And it's available on Amazon, the paper version, the ebook, and then the audiobook as well. So any way you like to listen, read books, it's available. And yeah, hope you check it out. And if you're looking for an end of episode advice, it would be that you have way more answers to your life's problems than you think you do. You're just maybe not asking yourself the right questions. That's probably how I would leave it.
No worries, Rob. It's been really good. Thanks heaps for being my first international guest on. Hopefully, will be one of many. If you know anyone, send them my way. East Coast Averages. Really enjoyed talking to you, Rob, and enjoy the rest of your day, man. Appreciate it.
You too, buddy. Thanks for having me. Take care, everyone. Thanks for listening.
All right, thanks for listening to another East Coast Average episode. Like I said, that one was fucking very East Coast Average. Let me tell you about that. It's a bit fucking cringeworthy, actually. But anyway, I'm leaving it out there because this is a fucking journey that I'm on. I'm hoping that you guys will all come along with me. Like I said, man, Robert's book, unbelievable. Look, I was the fucking biggest Dory Downer all day today. I was just thinking, what the fuck am I doing this for? The book with no answers, man. It motivated me. I found chapter 5 off the charts. Fucking motivation levels, absolutely off the charts. So thanks for listening to another episode of East Coast Averages. You can find Rob's book on Amazon, Audible. I think you can get it on Kindle. I listened to it on Audible today. It's definitely worth spending a credit on. Send me an email. New email address, info@eastcoastaverages.com. There's a website coming in the next couple of weeks. You'll be able to buy a fucking hat. It'll be the best hat you've ever worn. Fantastic looking hat. And you could even possibly get a beanie for the cold weather up here in Katoomba or in Canada, wherever you are. So yeah, send me your address. I'll send you a sticker if you like. I've got a few stickers left, so we'll have to say, I don't know, first 20 people, I'll send you 2 stickers. That should see us through. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate you rating my episodes and hitting 5-star rating there on Spotify. Yeah, I might not want to hit the 5-star rating after this one, but go back and have a listen to the other episodes. This is episode 12 now, so there's plenty to listen to. Hit follow, hit subscribe, leave a review. That would be absolutely fantastic. Hit Rob up, get his book, have a listen to it. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. And yeah, see ya. I'll speak to you on the next one. I'm back, baby. LIVEN. Living.